Hello, everybody. I am so happy that you are all here. We are actually waiting for more people, but I think that we can just get started and then we'll let people come in as they enter. Hopefully, they do. So, um, we're going to have a good time here today. We are going to celebrate the launch of my second book, which is called The Weave of Stone and Light, about alchemy, consciousness, and the sacred landscape. And we're going to talk a little bit about the book, and we're going to do some interviews, and we're going to have a little readout from the book, and we're going to be doing a little meditation. And I will try not to keep you more than 90 minutes. I'm hoping, I think maybe a little bit less. But you know me and time, we will try to keep it brief. It's Saturday, and I'm very, very happy that we are all taking the time to join me here today. And first of all, I would like to share with you just a few slides in the beginning while we are talking. Can you all hear and see me well?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, good, brilliant. So we're past that now. We have started. Um, yes, we're past this as well. So today, as always, when we do the call, I would just like you to mentally close your eyes for 10 seconds or so. Take a breath and just choose to get the most out of this call, whatever it is, whatever kind of call you're on, always set the intention of getting the most out of it. Um, and be courteous to everybody here because we are from different backgrounds, different countries, different cultures, and it's good that we were just respectful. And as we all know, the more we put into it, the more you get out of it. And in this occasion, I guess it is um, a little competition we're going to do at the end, and the meditation. Otherwise, I think I am going to talk a lot today. And I know that you might have questions or comments, so I will keep on checking the chat box every now and then. That's the best way to communicate. Um, yeah, and I know that I am here today, blessed with some fellow alchemists, and for you, I would like you to play along with an open mind because you know some of what we're talking about. And also, pardon me, I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat today. Um, we, you know some of the content about conscious creation, but I'm looking at this in this book from a different lens, really, or through a different lens. So I think you're still going to get a lot out of it. A little bit about me. Okay, is everybody in, by the way? Let's go back to this. Let's stop this for a sec. Is everybody okay with all of this? Are we ready to go on? Yeah. Okay, nodding. Brilliant. There. Good morning, everybody. Hi. So maybe you'll start. Where are you all calling in from, by the way? I know where some of you are coming from, but I guess that you don't all know where the others are coming from. Um, I can see that we have the US here, we have the UK, we have people living in the UK visiting other countries at the moment. Um, Canada, there we go, the Netherlands, yes. We might have some other guests from other countries as well joining later. Um, thank you. So, yeah. With that said, and now that we kind of know each other a little bit, we'll just move on. There we go. I'll let somebody else here. There we go. There. Can you hear me, Sally? Are you all right? Okay, so let's move on. So go back to my sharing because I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. I come from a background where I have worked in corporate and youth politics and things like that. I don't know really if that is so relevant for this because this is all about this book. But I think that you have seen a little bit lately that I have used this picture sometimes as a profile picture. I know that some of you might have also been thrown a little bit about all the symbolism in this. So I wanted to actually demystify that a little bit and just go into a little bit of why I had chosen to use this picture and what it really means to me and how actually none of it is anything vicious. I guess that was a bad word for it, really. Um, but the thing is, I wanted to talk about the staff first of all, because the staff is loaded with symbolism. So I sometimes, when there are special days of the year, um, especially 4 days of the year. Two of them are when the day and night is equal. I think that's like magical to me. And those are the equinoxes. And then you have the other two axes, or axes, which are the shortest day and the longest day and opposite night. And then we have from the southern hemisphere, it goes the other way around. So it's opposite. And this is really, 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 really fascinating to me. So I do try to make a big point of it for me to when on these days. So what I do sometimes is that I go to somewhere where there is performed a ceremony just to mark this because to me it makes it feel more special. It makes me feel more connected to the land and to cosmos, to creation, to what we are. So it's using this photo sometimes has been it's like writing this book. It's the journey through both of these spheres. You have the business, you have the history, you have all the material things, and then you have the equal opposite, which is the connection to the land, to ancient times, and all levels of consciousness. So, wearing a robe, for instance, on those occasions makes it feel more special and more sacred to me because it is special, right? And it's like dressing up a lot when we're going to a very special party or occasion, function. We might dress up. And the color I chose is green because it's a lady's color, like Mother Earth. It's grounding, it's feminine vibrations. The staff itself, snake, it's a symbol of wisdom. It's got rose quartz for love, and it's a flame. So it is that fire of love that burns in us all. And a few lucky ones of us are able to help others ignite and find their own flame again when it's been lost. And also on the top of the staff, you can see. I'll show you. Up here, there is a little silver ring around it that depicts Freya. And Freya, she was a Norse goddess of love and beauty and fertility and sex and war and gold and magic. And this is part of my um, background. I'm Norwegian, and I learned very early years in school about the Norse tradition. So for me, it's like connecting with my roots as well. And then also on the staff here, we have hagstones, which are stones that are naturally have a round hole in and that have been carved through other stones in the composite through thousands and thousands of years. They are said to be um, a form of protection and healing. It can also be a link to other realms, which is kind of what we do sometimes when we are creating. We can choose to see it that way. So as a speaker and lifestyle, I'm not going to talk a lot about myself, but I wanted to talk about the robe. I wanted to talk about the stuff because it is special and I think it deserves a little bit of place in this today. So, as a speaker, life strategist, and leadership coach, I help people to design their life 2.0. And for many years, though, I felt that it was like a deep, unexpressed. I can actually maybe stop the screen share now so you can see me instead. Um, Hang on, there. I'm almost going to pin myself. Okay, there. So, back to where we were. Um, for many years, I felt this deep, unexpressed connection to, like, I felt like I was part of a whole, but I felt like it was something missing. And um, in coaching, it was to find that balance with that really grounding that was part of the earth, not just grounding as we're doing a meditation, but to really experience and feeling and feel it. And it all kind of culminated when this book was birthed. So the first part of that was actually I was asked to give a talk for the Society of Lay Hunters, and it was a very open topic. The only criteria was that it was something that was supposed to be of interest to their audience. Okay. So here am I thinking, how can I talk about all the things that are interesting to me, but also for their audience, right? So how do I connect the quantum field, personal strategy, ancient wisdom, megaliths, and there is a lot of this weird ley line theories into one single powerful message? And this way I could talk on all these topics. But it was quite simple, but it wasn't really easy to knit this all together. And the journey through creating the book was a lot of being in that place where we are, that place in our consciousness where we are filled with this childlike natural wonder where everything is possible and we can ask questions. We are naturally curious. What if? What else? What if? Or why wonder? And how can I explain this and that? And then translating these vibrations, those images, hints, feelings into words. And that is this book. It is the culmination of all of this. So it was a great honor to the universe and the creator to write it. And it's also been lots of fun, very interesting. So enough about this. I would like to move on. I know that we might be having a guest joining us soon. I haven't seen them arrive yet, though. So we have two choices. We can go on, or we can start with the other interview. I know that today we were going to have Hannah visit us here today, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. So we have made an interview, a recording, and she will be joining us that way. And also I'm going to read a little passage. Let me just check through here who is here, just in case. Would anybody like to hear a little passage of the book first, and then we'll see if oh, there we go. Very bang on time. Amazing. Okay, so let us welcome Graham Phillips first, and we'll take it from there. There you are. Hi.
Can you hear
Hi,
me
Graham.
now?
I can hear you now, yes. Hi.
Excellent. Oh, I see
Yeah.
you've got lots of other people with you. There you go.
Yes. There. Yes, I have. Yeah, there are many more who signed up, but that's always the thing. Sometimes it's like 10% who show up, and we're doing better than that. That's
Oh,
brilliant.
cool.
Yes. Yeah, I would like to thank you for coming here, and I would like to introduce you or who you are to me, and maybe you would like to fill in afterwards. Um, so Graham and I, yeah, are you all right? Thank you so much for coming today, by the way. I'm really
Pleasure.
excited that you are here, as I am sure you can tell. When um, I'm always thinking that I should always be calm and collected, and in my world, it doesn't work because I am not really. When I'm having fun, it's not particularly calm and collected always. So I'm sorry about this. Um, we are moving around in our timetable today. So which is why I just freshing up here. So Graham, thank you for being here today again. Thank you for taking the time. I am incredibly honored to have you here. You are a revered author. You have written loads of books. Is it 22 or 23 now?
I could, don't know, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and you have you've been working for BBC and you founded Strange Phenomena magazine. And you are a real life Indiana Jones. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that. As I have been said to be that.
Yeah. So, um, you have um, you have read through the book quickly, and I know that some of it correlates or about what you have been doing and your work. For instance, there is one part in the book where I write about it's really the double slit experience experiment, but it's also about observing things into reality. So when I was a teenager, I had this vivid dream about becoming an author. And I would go into that in my mind a lot, and I would um, unconsciously, I did that a lot, and then unconsciously that has kind of anchored inside of me. And when the time was ready, it has really taken shape quickly. And I think that this might be something that you have experienced in your research and your work, or maybe something similar that, the double slit experiment that shows that when things are observed, we the outcome is as expected. We can almost create it. We can if we know how to. And if we don't, it's left to randomness. So the experiment was a photon gun that would send um, photons, right? Through two slits. And I'm just taking out this slide you see from my presentation, which is why I'm using my hand. Sorry. So you have like two openings, and you have the photos going, and on the page they had photo paper at the back, and the photos would like make two lines, but then they left it on and they left a room, and then when they come back, there weren't two lines at the back there anymore. There were loads of like sharp lines, bent lines, and it wasn't like what I expected at all. Is this something that correlates to any of your work? I don't know, explain what it is.
Well, basically, yes, very much. I mean, that's the double slit experiment is basically it shows that the way that you expect an experiment to work, it can happen one way or another way. It either light behaves either like a wave or it behaves like particles, but it basically seems to behave like both at the same time. And depending on the kind of experiment you do, it either hits that screen you were talking about as particles or as waves, and waves spread out, which is what you were talking about. That it's all over the place. Whereas if they do another kind of experiment, it's just like particles forming a couple of lines that go through these slits. But the interesting thing is that there's a guy in the 1950s had a theory. The only theory that really scientifically kind of makes sense, although they can't prove it, is that every time you do that, there is one world in which it, because it's both at the same time, there's one world in which the experiment shows it's a particle, but yet there's another parallel world created in which it's shown as a wave. It's called the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics, and it's basically all about the fact that you can get two lots of realities at the same time. Now, I'm no scientist, but I have had experiences that I wrote about in my book Strange Fate, in which many of us saw, well, we thought we remembered history as one particular thing. Like, for example, there was a house that I was investigating up in North Staffordshire called Biddulph Grange. And myself and lots of other people went inside it. We had a look around. We were told by the guys that actually ran the place that there was a cellar underneath it and we could go and have a look at it. And they showed us the opening to this cellar and they said, yeah, you can come. And we went back some months later. These guys not only had absolutely no memory of ever telling us about this, they remembered meeting us, didn't remember talking about the cellar. I showed them video of them pointing to where this cellar was. We went to where this cellar was. It didn't exist anymore. And yet I've got it on film. I mean, that's just one example of many in which I've experienced things where there seem to be two realities at the same time. Perhaps the weirdest one we had is myself and a friend Storm went to see this old house. She's no longer with us, unfortunately, but she was a novelist and she wanted to look at this old house, not the one I was just talking about, it's a different one, to see if it could sort of fit for a novel she wrote. She wanted a sort of a place that she could imagine in her mind's eye to this story she was going to tell. And so we went to see this place, and this guy showed us around it. And again, we filmed it. And he said, yeah, great, come back. Because he said, well, there's more of it I can show you, but it's all locked up at the moment, but you can come back in a couple of weeks. We went back in a couple of weeks. This guy had no memory of us at all. And yet there's two of us. We've got it on film. We went to this place. He was intrigued about what was going on. We went to this house. He took us there. He's like the caretaker. Took us to the house, just like we had before. This time it was all boarded up and had been clearly for years because you could see all the screws had rusted away and there was metal panels all over the windows. And I was showing him this film about the inside the house. He said it was impossible. I've shown these films to people and got these witnesses in front of various scientists I know. Some of them just say, oh, it's a big con, it's a big trick. This is AI you're using. Well, all this happened before AI was even, well, there was some AI around, but ordinary people like me couldn't get hold of it. So, yeah, there is. So, in other words, you can, as far as I can see, have a situation where two worlds can coexist at the same time. How? I have absolutely no idea. But this was a theory that was advanced in the 1950s to account for that double split experiment you said. One universe has it going in a series of dots, the photons, and the other universe has it as waves. But whichever experiment you do, you can swap it around. Somebody actually came up with an idea called quantum suicide. Basically, people they think that if you keep jumping from universe to universe,
Sorry, just a little trigger warning that perhaps if we're talking suicide, so if anybody
no, it's not to
gets
do with
triggered by that.
suicide.
No, just the word. Yeah. Okay.
I won't talk
Sorry.
about that then. Anyway,
No.
there you go.
Yeah, no, talk about it. It was just
No,
yeah, we
it's
have to
basically saying that it doesn't matter. Carry on.
Sorry. No, I'm very, very intrigued to hear about it. It's just certain words we've got to be a little bit careful about. So,
It's
if
basically
you
about a cat that gets trapped in a box
would you like to
called
tell me about it?
Schrodinger's cat. And it's a
Yeah.
thought experiment. It didn't really happen. There was a quantum physicist called Schrodinger, and he said that there are certain types of materials like uranium that give off a particle every so often. No one could ever tell when that particle is going to be given off. There's absolutely no way. It's totally random. But only when you've actually observed it happening has it actually happened. And he worked out an experiment, only a thought experiment, not reality. If you put a cat in a box, and then what you did is you get a piece of uranium kept separate from the cat, but if a particle shoots off it, it basically sets a trigger off and the cat gets gassed, right? He's not really getting gassed. This is this guy's theory. He said, you close the box, the cat's in there. Now, there's a 50% chance that that particular particle's come off and it's set off the trap and the cat's dead. But there's a 50% chance he's still alive. But until you open the box, the event hasn't actually happened. So until you open it, you've got a cat that's both dead and alive. That's quantum suicide. And okay, no one's ever tried that experiment. Of course, the person in there who could observe it is the cat itself. So you'd have to, that wouldn't quite work. But that's what I was going to talk about. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I have experienced myself lots of times actually what you explained in your first story there. I have been in meetings, long meetings for a whole day, and met the people 2 days later. I had no recollection, them or the meeting.
There you go.
I have been somewhere else. I can see the whole room. I can see myself sat there, but everything else is just gone. It's really, really surreal. But that's slightly off again. We can. I think that's something that you and I perhaps could talk about later. So, to move on a little bit, your work expertly connects ancient wisdom with modern research, and I know that you are very thorough in your research as well. So, what convinced you that people who built sites like Stonehenge weren't just primitive, but were working with a sophisticated, systemized understanding of consciousness and energy?
Because of the archaeology that has been done, this is just, there's many reasons, but one is the incredible knowledge they had about medicine. Now, the people who built Stonehenge and that, the megalithic civilization, didn't start in the south of England and moved upwards. It started off the coast of Scotland. This is how archaeology has proven it to be now. On the Orkney Isles, that's where the oldest stone circles are. They can date them by carbon dating what's underneath the stones, like old bone or anything, old animal matter, soil that's rotted away. Anything that was once living can be carbon dated. And they've carbon dated what's under the stones, and they know that Stonehenge was built around about 4,500 years ago, and they can go back earlier than that and find out the very earliest ones, stone circles, are on the Orkney Isles to the north of Scotland, and they date back 5,000, even older, 6,000 years, some of these early ones. Now, what's fascinating is that up there, they've dug and they've actually just found a new one this week. They've just announced that there's been a new discovery up there. They've found tombs in which there's pottery, early forms of pottery. And in that pottery, they've found the remains of certain plant matter, vegetable matter that was put in there. And scientists have investigated it, and they know now that these are medicinal substances that can be used for pain relief. They can be used, one or two of them are the same as we now use in chemotherapy for curing cancers in some cases. There are all sorts of other medical properties of these herbs that hasn't been rediscovered until modern times. So they were able to cure diseases that the Romans weren't able to do, that the people in the Middle Ages weren't able to do. They weren't able to do it in the Victorian times. And yet back 6,000 years ago, the same people who built these stone circles were doing that. That's just one example to show how much more advanced they were than anybody ever thought.
Yes. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And all of this is so fascinating. That's also one thing about writing this book has brought back to me because I used to take So much pleasure and interest in diving into the Earth mysteries that used to fascinate me so much, and it's really brought it back up to life for me. So I'm really grateful for that. And through this, I have got to meet so many lovely people like you, for instance. So let's just move on slightly still. Because I'm mindful of your time as well. So you've researched many ancient British sites. Um, what is the most compelling piece of evidence, archaeological or historical, that suggests that these sites were specifically located or
Siri,
designed to?
can I have a
Pardon?
moment? I need to go. I'm not at home, and I just logged in because you asked me to come in, but I have no time anymore.
Okay,
It was lovely to see you, but yeah, I have to go. Take
okay,
care.
okay. Thank you
Uh,
for joining, Martin. Okay,
thank
lovely to
you.
see you.
Sorry that
Okay,
Bye-bye.
it is so
yeah,
short, but take care. All right.
and you too.
Bye
I'll
now.
send you a link to the recording. Okay, bye.
Cool. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, yeah, he's away on holiday. So
Oh, he's in his car.
yes, yes, on holiday. So okay, so I'll start over. You've researched many ancient British sites. What is the most compelling piece of evidence, or archaeological or historical, that suggests these sites were specifically located or designed to function as a technology for focusing human intent? Have you got any thoughts around that?
Well, there's one, and that is that the stone circles throughout the British Isles that were built between 5,000 years ago and about 1500, about 1,000 to 1,500 years. That was the period they were built. The interesting thing is they weren't just built by one lot of people. The first people that built them were, we call them the Neolithic people. And people then came from what's now Holland, what's now the Netherlands, and they came and they were known as the Beaker people. They were called that because they were buried with a beaker. That's their way of burying people, with a cup. Obviously, it symbolized something. The earlier people just buried their dead in a mound. Then the Beaker people buried their dead the same way, but with a beaker. So we know from the graves that they are a different bunch of people. And the Beaker people worked alongside. We know that because we found their their graves right next to the graves of the earlier people in their settlements near where Stonehenge is and places like that. Then you get another lot of people who came from Belgium called the Wessex culture. They buried their dead in what's known as cisterns. They basically built a kind of stone coffin in the ground and put their deceased in the ground that way. But then again, we find those graves right next to the Beaker people graves and the Neolithic people. And then you get another lot of people arriving who are called the Urnfield culture. They came all the way from Germany. They cremated their dead, put the dead in the ashes in urns and buried them in fields. All these people were living next to each other during this period of time, all continuing to use the stone circles. So if there were just some religious thing, all these people wouldn't be using them because they kept their religious practices going in the way that they were burying people. That's one of the best ways you can tell if people are following a particular kind of religion, whether the way they bury their dead. And they're all carrying on with their earlier religions, yet they're using the stone circles and these stones and these earthworks that are all over the country, continuing to use them all together. That seems to suggest they have to have a practical purpose. I don't know what that practical purpose was, but that shows it was a practical purpose. And I say that is probably the best piece of evidence that whatever they were doing with these things, it wasn't just to worship there was something else going on.
Yes, I totally agree. Which reminds me actually of something that is not directly in the book, uh, indirectly, I suppose, because I know that the invention of where we see lintels over doors and windows, that shows up around the world, around the globe, many years ago. Thousands of years ago. It's 100. It's around 1,500 years ago, isn't it? 1,000.
when the lintel
when the
first came.
lintels came over doors and windows, where that was first
I have
discovered.
never looked into it. I don't know.
No, okay. What is fascinating
I'm
though
not
is
really an
that
expert on doors.
no, that's that on the neither am I. But what is interesting here is that they start to show up around the globe within about 50 years. And they have proven that that wasn't actually possible for people to travel all the way around the globe in that period of time um with the means they had, well, that we know about, and let me just admit someone else, and and um and teach new people how to do it and get it going. So from my point of view, because I talk about consciousness and different levels of consciousness in the book. So what I call, what a lot of the people on this calls the superconscious, which is kind of a higher self, is that we have a personal field, we have an outer field, we have a self-conscious, we have an unconscious or subconscious, some people call it, and then we have the higher self. And I think that we can see this sort of inventions and things appearing around the world very close together, really, happening through times. And I think that is very much supporting the the idea that these people weren't at all simple. They knew how to connect to that field that is unlimited, that holds all information, and they were able to download it just like what we do today.
Well, the thing is that the time that they started building these stone circles, around about 5,300 years ago, that's when they really got going. That's 3,300 BC, around somewhere around there, 3,000, 3,300, 3,500 BC. At exactly the same time, and with no connection with each other that we can possibly discover, the people in Mesopotamia, the Sumerian civilization, suddenly started building these great big cities. Ancient Egyptian civilization suddenly gets going. And over all the way over in India, in what's now Pakistan, the Indus Valley civilization suddenly kicks off. And the early Olmec civilization kicks off across the ocean in Central America, all at the same time. These people
Yes.
weren't connected with each other. They hadn't suddenly invented something. They seem to have been all inspired by what you could only say is some kind of super consciousness that inspired them at the same time. Unless, of course, you believe the ancient alien thing and people are coming down and aliens are turning up. Whatever it happens to be, I mean, I've been on Ancient Aliens enough times to, 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 to know what their ideas are. I don't necessarily believe in them. What I tend to do is, when I'm on that show, is they say to me, tell us something that's weird. So I'll tell them something like that. And then it's up to Giorgio, the guy with the hair, to say, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. But anyway, it's kind of another thing that proves what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and I know that you have so many stories and yeah, and examples of things that are fascinating, and I'm glad that you brought up that, because that's obviously a much bigger. I don't know which one is more important though. I guess that you can't really measure that, because lentils were, it's not a competition. That's not what I mean. But lentils made our houses a lot safer. And um, I have an idea. I have this plan when it comes to stone circles and coaching and all over the world. But that's for another time, I think. Really. Have you got time for one or two more questions, Graham? Because
I have
I don't
indeed.
know.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How about the rest of you? Are you okay? Should we get going? Because I find this very interesting, and it also what this conversation really shows us, as what we talked about a little bit about before you came, is how things can be seen from different perspectives, and still be valid and have the same root cause. And I think that is also very fascinating. So I have written some suggestions for questions. I've got so many here. I need to try to pick something. Yeah. Well, the endorsement that you very kindly wrote speaks of the interconnectedness of matter and mind. Could you briefly share an example from your research that best illustrates how focusing human consciousness or intent can demonstrably, sorry, interact with and influence the physical material world?
Yeah, basically, it's something that I call proneness. You might have met people who are just really lucky. I mean, I knew a guy who'd won the lottery twice. I mean, the chances of that are billions to one. I mean, the old sailors used to have a term for somebody called a Jonah. That is somebody who was there on a ship and the ship sank, but they survived. They went on another ship, it sank. A Jonah, based on a character from the Old Testament called Jonah, who was supposed to be on every ship he went on sank and he got swallowed by a whale eventually. But anyway, that's where the name came from, is somebody who was accident prone. Now, when I was at school, I knew this kid, and if we went, whenever we went with him, we would actually if I went to a boarding school, and if we wanted to make sure that the teachers never caught us having midnight feasts or doing what we shouldn't do, if this guy George was with us, we would never get caught. It's almost as if they didn't see us. His proneness was somebody who never got caught doing wrong things. My proneness is I can drink, smoke, eat myself stupid, and nothing happens to me. I know somebody else who's basically literally looks after themselves really, really, really well, and they're always ill. And there's nothing in their genes about it. I know somebody who's accident prone. On somebody who's the opposite. You probably heard of Andrew Collins, the guy I do a lot of research with him. He does things like me, same kind of books. He can do the most ridiculous things and never get killed. And people with him are safe. One time when we did the Strange Phenomena magazine in Wolverhampton years ago, we were in the offices of the magazine. The electricity had gone, so we were trying to light a fire in the grate. The coal and the wood was wet, so he went to his car. We were only about 20 at the time, 23 or something. He went to the car, he got a big can of petrol, poured it on, and the whole place exploded. And yet myself and him and Jenny, my girlfriend at the time, literally nothing happened to us. And the whole place was black. So when the fire brigade came, they said, there's no way you should have survived this. That guy has been involved in 5 car accidents and nothing's ever happened to him. Now, he has got a proneness to escape disaster, even though he's basically the kind of person who brings these disasters onto himself, like throwing petrol onto a fire. Right, okay, what's this got to do with anything? The only way something like this can work, you can't put it in a scientific experiment. You can't put it in a lab and say certain people have got proneness and others haven't. Certain people are prone to this and some people are lucky, some people aren't. And no, the only way, in my humble opinion, that things like that and many more that I've investigated over the years can be explained is if we live in some kind of matrix. I don't mean to say that we're actually in a computer that's created by robots or something like in the film The Matrix, but something about reality just isn't the way we think it is. And that kind of means that somehow consciousness and reality are somehow interlinked. And I worked out a way years ago with people to try and get them to focus their minds in a slightly different way than they had to change something pretty big in their lives. And then their proneness changed. That is mind over matter. I mean, I've never
Yes.
written books about this. I've written all about these weird things happening, but I've never written any way of telling anybody how you could do this because I'm not quite sure it works in every case. But those are my experiences anyway.
Yeah, well, what you are talking about here is actually scientifically proven, and it's got to do with patterns, psychological patterns that are very often unknown to us. So a lot of it is actually uh, childhood patterns. So I'll use one of our mentors' examples on this one. It's on the opposite side than what you were talking about. So he is talking about how when he was very young, when he was a child, he got a baby brother, and he was horribly jealous, and he would be really nasty to his brother. So to the point where his younger brother actually quite unconsciously was afraid of him. And as they grew older, so he developed an illness and sickness that prevented his older brother, William, to be mean to him. And then sorry, I'm laughing, but through life, this escalated. So William moved abroad, and every time he would come back to his home country to visit, his brother would have a horrible disease or accident or nearly die every time, as this way of escape. And it's kind of the opposite coin of what you're talking about, but it's all here patterns that we carry with us because we have created it. And obviously, what we usually hear about is uh, negative beliefs, negative unconscious beliefs. But I'm so glad that actually there are somebody willingly bringing up all the positive unconscious beliefs that we have, that also come because through all of our beliefs, we create the world around us. So yeah, thank you. I'm really happy to hear that. I'll give you one more question and then I'll let you go. I know we have kept you for a little bit longer than what I said. Um, but it's such a pleasure to hear you, listen to you, and talk to you. And I know that everybody else also finds it very, very fascinating. So, um, ley lines is an important topic in the book, because it was the Society of Ley Hunters who invited me to do a talk for them, that culminated in this book eventually. So I'd like to, upon me, just briefly talk about this. So, because we discussed the ley lines in the book, and I know that it's something that you have a lot of knowledge about as well. So, beyond the straight line alignments, what is your insight into the actual energetic reality of these codices, like invisible flowers of subtle energies that researchers like yourself believe that these ancient sites were positioned to harness? Have you got any ideas of that?
Well, going back to when we were doing the Strange Phenomena magazine that you were talking about, this is the one in Wolverhampton where we almost blew up the house with petrol. That was back how many years? 45 years ago? Wow. God, I'm 72. 72 years old. I never thought I'd get beyond 40, actually. Anyway, not with Andy Collins around blowing people up with petrol. Anyway, going back when we were in we were doing the magazine, one of the things that we investigated was ley lines, and we chose a particular series of ley lines that are down on Dartmoor in Devonshire, in southwest England. And there was something called the Dartmoor Triangle. It's basically got it's a Dartmoor, for those of you who are not in England or don't know, it's moorlands, it's hilly country, there's hardly anybody lives up there, and it's about the size of, I don't know, it must be about 30 miles by 30 miles, that kind of size. And in the corners of it, well, in whatever you call the corners of a triangle, there's a stone circle, stone circle, stone circle. And kind of in between those stone circles, there's a whole series of standing stones and other ancient monuments like ancient mounds and things like that that do fall in straight lines. It's pretty obvious that this was something that was decided upon years ago, 5,000 years ago. They planned this out for some reason. Okay, you've got this triangle of ley lines. We decided to do proper investigation to see if along those ley lines anybody actually who lived there or buildings that were there was anything odd happened. And what we found is that when we plotted the haunted houses on Dartmoor, most of the most haunted ones, the ones that really, that had got a lot of evidence for it, poltergeist activity witnessed by more than just one person and photographic evidence, this sort of thing, they all seem to fall along these lines. So I thought that's really weird. Now, we knew a guy called John Michel back then who wrote a book called View Over Atlantis. He actually did a study in a book before that called The Flying Source of Vision, in which he went in that same triangle on Dartmoor and interviewed people about where they'd seen UFOs and strange lights in the sky. They were also seen in this triangle. So I can say that something definitely goes on. People see UFOs or lights in the sky. They may not be from alien. They may not be aliens, but some strange lights that appear in the sky. And hauntings happen, like poltergeist phenomena, and they do seem to go along some of these ley lines, especially in places like Dartmoor that are remote, where the stones are still there and very few people live. So, yeah, something's going on. I don't know what it is, but I can say that it's weird and it's true.
Yeah, on that note, I'd just like to say something very quickly because learning about consciousness, learning about quantum science and alchemy, and having a background from holistic therapies, I can now scientifically explain quite well how healing works. But the thing is, a lot of people could maybe think that that would demystify it or it would take the magic out of it. But to me, it makes the miracle that actually it works even greater. Because when you can consciously see, or you constantly know and explain it, and it's still blowing your mind, I think it's just. I think it's making the whole world is so much more magical to me now than before my eyes were opened to call it that. Oh, yeah. So on that note, Graham, I know that we have kept you a little bit longer than the 15 minutes to 20 minutes told you about.
Oh, we've been, oh, right, that's no problem at all.
Well, in the company of nice people, but
No,
yeah,
it's
it's
thank
like
you
that when
very
we
much
all
for having
like
me
to.
on.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming. And I would really like to talk to you deeper about this in my podcast later. I would.
Okay, and thank you, everybody, and thank you for listening to me, and have a nice day. Okay, bye bye for
Okay, yeah,
now.
thank you so much for showing up.
Bye, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, so that was Graham. He he's like me. He likes to talk. He's full of words. He's written lots of books. So now you know what to expect from me. Get all these words out. um, how did you enjoy this? Let me know in the chat box. This I find Graham has worked with Earth mysteries, and a lot of what I cover in the book on the side of the consciousness and the alchemy for so many years, and he's so knowledgeable. And yeah, I'm glad that you're enjoying. So I find it really, really interesting and lovely. So I'm mindful of everybody's time as well. I said that we are going to finish at 2:30 and 3:30, sorry, my time in about half an hour. So we have a choice because I'm not going to get time for everything I wanted to do. So we are going to axe the meditation for now. I will share the link for you all in the chat box and on the screen so that you can download it. And then yeah, thank you for showing up and for coming. It was great to have you. It was lovely to see you again, Pete. It was absolutely wonderful. So what I'll do now, I will first of all do the interview with Hannah. Okay, Hannah Knies is the co-founder of the Magnetic Mind Certification Program, and she's also a creative development coach. And she's a lovely soul. And we met in Brighton a couple of years ago. Mine is about 10 days. I think we're bang on 2 years. And that's also when I met Catherine. Hello. It's so nice to have you here. So, yeah, I will see if I can get it working. I did test this earlier today. I'm going to have to put my reading glasses on to see all these little buttons on my screen. I'm sorry. I have to look at it like this. Um, Let me just find it. There, and now I'm going to screen share that. There, I just need to find you guys again. Here we go. That is that one. Let's share with sound. Fantastic. So please let me know that if you can hear and see this, because it is now supposed to be playing, and it's not. Oh, hello. We are here now. Okay, let's try a different file. Let's try one with video. I guess you guys only saw a black screen there, didn't you? There. I'm blessed with the presence of the wonderful Hannah Knies. She is one of my mentors, and she has meant so much. Just, just let me quickly explain here. I'll pause this for a sec. I was really happy to see Hannah again, and I was quite excited during this interview, and it does show, especially in the beginning. So I apologize for this before we start, but here we go. To me on my creative journey, and it's such an honor to have you here and to talk about the Weaver's Stone of Light and
Thanks so
everything
much.
that's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
so
so much
yeah.
for the invitation. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here. And first of all, congratulations on the launch of your book. I'm very excited for you.
And this is where I started my creative journey officially. And I'm taking the time to actually be here. You can probably notice everybody. I'm a little bit excited because I met Hannah a couple of years ago, and she is such a wonderful person. And I am absolutely chuffed that you are here. I have to stop saying this now.
Thanks, Siri. Let me just put the record straight a little bit. So I have been with Conscious Education Company for a very long time. So I'm one of the founding members of the leadership team. I'm not the co-founder of the company as a whole. I was very lucky to be introduced to the work that we're doing by Chris personally many, many years ago. And I'm the co-founder of the Magnetic Mind certification program. And this is actually where we met, because I remember you joined the program, I think 4 years ago. And it's been an absolute blessing and such a joy to, witness your journey and to be a part of it. I know we met in person 2 years ago, in Brighton at my breakthrough event, and you've been expanding and creating ever since. And I was so excited when you told me that you were going to launch your next book, the next book, which is so exciting to say. So yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm very excited to just witness what you're creating and how you're really bringing your creative genius to the world.
Thank you. It's such a wonderful place to be. So much joy and fun and happiness. So that's how it's supposed to be, isn't it? So, Hannah, in your endorsement, you speak about the book weaving ancient sacred sites into coaching. So, from your perspective, why is merging the earth wisdom with the modern practices of conscious creation, which you obviously teach, so crucial for genuine, lasting transformation today?
That's a great question. Thank you so much. It's really relating to an overall truth that that I adhere to, which is we are all creative beings, and we are not our human shape or our human body. We have a human body, however, we are creative essence in that body, and we are meant to tap higher information to bring our personal expression of heaven to earth. I'm very much firmly rooted in that truth that expressing our creative nature has us create heaven on earth. And in all the many ways that we can do that, getting connected to the wisdom this planet holds and being reminded of the fact that we are earth beings is definitely one of the many entryways to be reminded of our truth and have a step into what's actually possible, what's possible when we open ourselves to higher wisdom that lives outside of our day-to-day waking consciousness. And from there, starting to explore in all that information what's actually true for me. So how can I ground what I'm tapping there? And I really do feel that this is a very exciting approach.
Thank you. Yeah, it's different. And I think it's very, very important as well, because we are part of the land, and it's so important for our grounding and our heritage. And, you know, inevitably, it also shapes who we are. So you are one of those who champion personal mastery. So how does the book's core concept to connecting to the secret of the landscape, finding your own ley line or alignment, so to say, help someone move past doubt and to help design their life 2.0, as I call it, with authentic confidence?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for the compliment. I do see myself as someone who is teaching but also learning at the same time. So I'm not too sure about the championing. However, I do absolutely adhere to mastery in a way that, to me personally, it's very important to open up to the possibilities and to open up to the fact that we can always move beyond to what's already established in a way. And when I look at the concept of finding our own ley lines, it's all coming back to an iteration of how we relate to ourselves. So in connecting back to the truth of who we are, creative beings, and creating from that true identity of a powerful creator, creative spirit in a human body, I do like working with the metaphor and analogy that we each individually carry genius ideas as in vibrational signature that's very unique, that we can express through our creations and manifestations. And in that, as ley lines are connected to the magnetic field of the earth, it's just another way of going, okay, so how can we, what is the field? How can we tap the field? And given the fact that we are electromagnetic beings as well, we can definitely work with the energies, quote unquote, the vibrations, to connect to our higher existence, and then grounding what we get from there. And in our approaches to this work, I mean, you're deeply rooted in the same premises that I am rooted in. There are all these different ways of understanding our true identity and living it. And the concept of connecting to sacred sites and utilizing that as a way to connecting to the truth of who you are it's just a beautiful way of doing that.
Yeah, and yes, and on that point, that's actually one of my favorite points of doing it as well, because you find yourself in a place that feels special, it's sacred, and pardon me. And I feel like when you are in a place like that, it makes it easier also to access that part of you that's sacred as well. It's just a natural balance. It just makes it more profound as well.
Hmm.
It really does. So I would say that you're champion though, because you are who you are, and you teach, and as you all said quite rightly, we all learn along the journey. It's that is inevitable. If you're going to create, you have to learn along the way, otherwise your creations will dry out, really.
That's
Um, yeah. So another question for you, darling. As the co-founder of the Magnetic Mind Certification, you help people apply these creation principles practically. So, what is one powerful immediate mindset or action shift that someone in our audience can make today using your methodology to better magnetize their life to a reality?
That's such a great question. Thanks for asking. One of the things that I do feel matter more than anything is in all the excitement of exploring concepts, it's very important to actually live those concepts, because otherwise we will never get the benefit. And I remember one of my earliest mentors told me right from the start, Hannah, you can't meditate yourself through this. You have to take action. And it's a story that I also keep telling in the certification program. You might remember it. The one thing that is simple to apply is really just coming from a focus of what allows me to enjoy my life. And the truth is, figuring out what you truly want is hard. We are all underpracticed in identifying what we truly desire, what's in our heart, what's in our creative genius. However, one way that opens the door to so many possibilities is to really start from what are the ways that you want to feel on a day-to-day basis. And it's coming from the premise that, yes, we are powerful creative beings, and we get to choose how we want to feel. We can redirect the way we want to feel. We can step out of a fiery conversation, choose to take a different stance, and then enter the conversation back in coming from a different emotional place. So definitely we can do that. And the truth is, we have the capability to identify, based on how we want to feel, what are the things that give us these feelings. And that's very simple. You could literally just make a list of, okay, so how do I want to feel? Let's say I want to feel happy and inspired, and then go, what are the things that give me these feelings? Well, spending time with my dog makes me feel happy. Doing a meditation makes me feel inspired. And give yourself these things, really like a list or a menu that you get to pick from. Things that you can put in a calendar. I usually say that if you can give them a day and a time, then that's a good thing, because then you can go and live these things on a regular basis, and you will definitely enhance your experience of life. You will have more experiences that make you feel good in whatever way you want to feel. So good can mean all sorts of different things. And from there, you can go and you can start expanding. Most people go about their life's creations in a way that they look at what's wrong, quote unquote, in the current reality, and figuring out ways to move away from that. Starting with this, what we call the simple life plan principle, where you go, this is how I want to feel. These are the things that give me those feelings. I'm going to do more of that. Neutralizes all these away from. So you're really in a place where you go, okay, so I'm satisfied with what I have right now in all big and small ways, day to day. And from there, you're coming in from neutrality, and you really have this opportunity to expand into your creative genius and create from there.
And that is so easy to follow as well, really. It is a simple plan. Well, quite often things that are simple are not that easy to follow through, though, because it is something about being perseverant in this and make sure that you repeat what works and everything. And I'm happy you mentioned this with the feeling, because every year I set a word that's going to be a feeling or emotion that's going to be something that guides me through the year. And this year it's been fun. So I've had an overall goal of experiencing fun while I am while I'm in my power and living my true nature and purpose. And to set it up like this was really, really difficult. But it has the year has exponentially become more and more and more fun. I do more and more of the things that I like. It might be what everybody else finds fun, but it's really, really fueling me. And that's in that respect of creation, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for that.
Two things that come to mind when you say that is one, it's simple,
Yeah.
it's not easy. Definitely. So what you're saying, I will definitely echo that. Follow through is where it gets really tricky. And that's where, creative development coaching comes in, where all the things come in that we can offer in terms of guidance and support, continuity, accountability, all the ways that we can help others take that obvious action. And also, I really love how you say that you're giving yourself a theme or a word or an emotion for the year, because it really speaks to the fact that we are seasonal beings. And that's also something that we both know has completely been ignored for the longest time since we started living by the conveyor belt. And it's really something that's returning now. And I really love approaches where, again, getting back to earth wisdom, we acknowledge that we are earth beings, and there is a season and a time for everything. So yeah, just really in total alignment with your message in the book. I really love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm speaking my truth. I'm having fun along the way because I get to talk about everything that I love. So it's a win-win everywhere. So I really hope that it shines through, and it seems like you have really picked up on that as well. So hopefully the rest of the world will see that as well. So you will be later, just to move on a little bit, I'm not going to keep it too long. You'll be joining me later on the Strategy and Soul Post podcast. That might change the name though. By the time we get there. So what is one concept from the Weave of Stone and Light that relates most to purposeful living that you are most excited about to explore further in our full conversation?
There are so many things that I'm excited about. And no matter the name of the podcast, I'm really looking forward to joining you in that episode. One thing that I'm really passionate and excited about, and I could talk about that for hours and hours, is ancient alchemy. The metaphor and analogy of turning lead into gold, and what that actually means, what is it truly that ancient alchemists have tried to tell us for the longest time, for thousands of years? It's been hidden in plain sight, and I can't wait to explore that further with you.
Yeah, thank you. That was one of the most incredible parts of the book to write as well, about the Hermetic principles, and tie that up both to the ancient and to the modern world. Yeah, so that was fun. I'm really looking forward to dive deep into that with you later. Yeah, I'm really blessed. I have lots of people who want to be on my podcast, and I haven't started it yet. So this is going to be absolutely amazing. Yes. So Hannah, on this note, you are a star. And thank you so much for taking the time to come here. I know you're very, very busy and you couldn't make it live for the launch party, but I'm so, so happy that you are here today. And then we get to have this chat. And thank you so much for all your wisdom pearls. I'm really, really happy for your gold nuggets and everything.
Thanks
Okay,
so
it was
much.
lovely.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be with you today, and congratulations on the launch of your book, and I can't wait to join you on your podcast.
Thank you. Yes, I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was Hannah. Yes, it's just she comes in from a totally different perspective than what Graham did, and she obviously also has a completely different take on the book. equally fascinating, though, if I may say so. So we have 10 minutes. Okay, I am actually going to do another little screen share, but this time I'm going to do my presentation that we really haven't followed through so much on today. But I think it's very good, though, not to hide behind slides and just be that little corner up in yeah, the little corner. Yeah, okay, so this is where I was going to read a passage from a book. Let me know if you have the time or if we should do that still. It's Hannah. These are links for to purchase the book, so you can take a picture if you would like. This is going to be valid for today and the future. The book will have a promotion tomorrow and be free of charge. The plan was it was going to be today, but the tech didn't want it that way, so it is tomorrow. On the bright side, the paperback is already ready to be ordered. And that wasn't expected until next week, so that's on the bright side. Let me see. And that we have also spoken to Graham. I'm going to bypass this as well. So if you guys would like to, this is why I'm going through this. So these are the same book links as before. I'm giving you, I'm going to keep this up for 10 seconds so that you can take a photo of it or a screenshot. If you would like to have an audio file of the meditation, you will use this one. Okay, so that's also to sign up for the newsletter, but through that you will also be able to get the meditation that will be sent to you in email. So stop share again. Would anybody like to hear a little passage from the book? It's going to take about 3 minutes. I was going to do a 5-minute one. How very strict do we need to be on time? Are we okay to overrun maybe with 10 minutes? Yeah? Okay. Brilliant. So what I'll do now, go back to that slide, I think, where you see me sat there reading the book. And if you notice, if you have really sharp eyes like that, you saw a little Casanova down at the right-hand side corner, right? And that's what we are going to, what I'm going to read about. I'm going to read just a couple of pages because this is, for very many people, it's quite, reading glasses again, sorry. It's maybe an unexpected figure in the setting that we are talking about. So this is I'm now going to let you know why we are talking about. So this is in chapter 3. It's called A Modern Take on Alchemy in the Mastery. And I'm going to read to you about Casanova, the alchemist of attraction. Okay. Now we can all giggle a little bit along the way. So, building upon our understanding of the Philosopher's Stone, which I've talked about earlier in the book, as a metaphor for inner mastery and alignment, let's now turn to a truly unexpected figure, the legendary lover Giacomo Casanova. Born in Venice in 1725, Casanova was an Italian adventurer known for using pseudonyms and claiming alchemical knowledge to gain favor. For him, alchemy was a tool for social climbing rather than genuine spiritual practice. Yet, if we choose to see him in a different light, his life offers a powerful, if unconventional, example of how internal state influences external reality. Casanova's extraordinary success in matters of the heart likely appeared as some inexplicable charm, a weird psychic trick to irresistibly attract whomever he desired. This is the core lesson I often say to those I coach that becoming a true master of your superconscious field isn't about forced positivity or sheer willpower. It's about inner mastery. Casanova's consistent success was the outward manifestation of a profound internal process. This is a mastery of the alchemical great work known as solver et coagula, which means to dissolve or to coagulate. Casanova was able to dissolve his insecurities and self-doubt, not through willpower, but through a deep embodied belief in his own magnetic presence. He then coagulated his refined energy into a powerful external reality that attracted exactly what he desired. His charm was not a facade, it was the outward manifestation of a profound internal process that anyone can learn. This leads us on to a little snippet about the inner work, purification and alignment. The first part of our journey is to understand how a person or reality is formed. The process of individuation, a term popularized by Carl Jung, is the unconscious programming that happens in our formative years, where we create rules for ourselves based on our need to belong. These patterns, often formed as early as the toddler stage, can rule us for the rest of our lives without our conscious awareness. This is where true alchemy begins. The alchemical process is the conscious journey of confronting and engaging with these deep-seated patterns. A key part of this is our shadow, which refers to the parts of our personality we unconsciously repress. These aren't just our inner critics, they also hold our dormant power, untapped talents, and brilliance. In many cultures, the internalized "who do you think you are" ethos acts as a massive brake, teaching us to repress our light and not stand out. Reclaiming this repressed potential is the essential work that transforms our whole being into gold. True alchemy, the way I see it, is a process of healing and learning to handle these patterns and to integrate the shadow. This is the purification of the lead, the essential, difficult work that transforms our whole being into gold. When we reclaim our shadow, we are in alignment with our soul's desire, and we silence the inner voices that talk us out of living our true nature and purpose. This is the critical first step to becoming a conscious creator. A conscious creator is someone who applies the laws of personal alchemy to their life, just like our character Giacomo Casanova. That was a little snippet. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah. I would like to. How are you finding this so far? By the way, I know we're nearly at the end of it. I'm not going to keep you here for another 90 minutes. But I'd love a little bit of feedback because I know that we've had a variety of guests and topics, and it's I've had lots of fun and enjoyed it a lot. I hope you have too. Unless some of you joined a bit late, but that's okay. People have been coming and going the whole time, so that's absolutely fine. Let me know in the chat box. Yeah, sorry, my chat box was hiding. Oh, thank you. Inspiring. Yeah, thank you. I hope it is. It's all this work is very, very inspiring, and it is designed to inspire everybody, the world, those who need that little sparkle, or maybe a little bit curious. Thought-provoking. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, definitely outside the box. I would like to think it is. So I'm happy about that. So, since I have been told the happy, glad news today, or the glad news, the glad tidings, without coming into that time of year, I would like to give 3 of you, from all of you have been here today. Everybody will get the replay. A signed premium color paperback, the book I personally signed for. It's going to take a little bit of time to get to you if you are a chosen winner, because I need to order and receive the author copies. That was approved. I got the email like just before we started this meeting, actually. So that started on a really good high. So that's lovely. So what I would like you to do, how you can take part, is based on the alchemy activation part that we have discussed through today. I would like you to in the chat or on Instagram, if you use Instagram or Facebook, use the hashtag Weave of Stone and Light and share this. Okay, what one limiting belief are you going to dissolve, and what new intention are you going to coagulate? What is it that you want to change before 2026 starts? Or maybe what is your biggest goal? Do you have anything that you are consciously wanting to change? And maybe a little bit of background for it. So what I'll do tomorrow, that should give everybody time to join in. I will tomorrow at 12 o'clock, let's say that, I will pick a winner, and my lovely daughter Mia here will help me do the draw. Okay. And I will let you know in dark messages. Okay. And I will also share it, at least with first names. It's all in a work. Yes, it is. Oh, that's beautiful. Come back to the belief in myself and regain my strength and negative belief flips. We need to talk. Okay, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming here today. Would anybody like to see the links again? I can maybe dig out those slides. Yeah, I can keep that up. Let me just go back a little bit. So I learned here the other day from Graham, actually, that obviously there are different links for the US versions and the UK versions of the book, because he very cleverly posted that on his social media for one of his books. So here I have now the opportunity to present the UK and EU and the US version. It should work worldwide between them. If anybody has any problems with the links, let me know. Send me a message, because I know that sometimes these links, they don't quite work for people. And what you can do then, a very good, easy workaround that, is actually just to search for my name or the title of the book. And then you should get my books up on your listing. So this is via Amazon. Okay. Have you all got your phones out? Have you all taken the photos and screenshots that you needed? I'll stop the share again. Okay. If you didn't get it this time, let me know and I'll send it to you in a private message. Okay, so I would like to just express a little bit of gratitude to you guys, because it's been wonderful to have you here. and it's nice to see new and old faces. Um, and thank you for sharing this special moment with me and this experience and being part of this journey, because now you're all part of this journey going forwards. So, as I mentioned before, the promotion is going to be tomorrow. You can buy the book on Kindle for free. And possibly again, I will let everybody know in good time before then. The paperback is ready to fly already. And you have the meditation and you have the competition. So I think we're all sorted, actually. So thank you very, very much for your time. I hope you have enjoyed yourself. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you all here with me. It really has. It's been great fun for me. I hope and very interesting, and it's been lovely to see you all. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And so please help me get this book to fly now, because that will have big, wider consequences for other books that I write. Also, for instance, for survivors of domestic abuse. So it's all gonna work together. So I'm hoping, we're gonna get that. Okay. Well, thank you all so very much. I'm gonna close this call now. Okay. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you again, everybody. Okay. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.